I know this is not your end of year, but this is ours. It's not a Christmas end of year or a financial one, but it's a college one. So we are actually part of De Montfort University and Castle College, and thanks for turning up at the courses and patronising us and giving us the constructive feedback as well as the kind of nice stuff, really. Lots of new nice stuff to look forward to. It's been a difficult year for us, lots of changes in funding, but a lot to look forward to. We have been doing lots of secret meetings in the background, trying to get funding in place to expand and take us to the next level, all that kind of thing. Okay, on to tonight's event then. Hopefully you're here because you want to know what's happening to Google, what's happening in search, and where it's all going to be going in the future, and also what it's going to take to nail search positions now. I know there's a lot of people in the room who are active in search, like yourself, for instance, so feel free to kind of share along. Now, if you were expecting just a speech from someone, you can forget it because it involves you guys. Not in the SEO CoolWall, but in Top Gear's CoolWall, they have these columns between seriously uncool, uncool, cool, sub-zero, and somebody's going to point out that they also have a fridge, which is for sub-zero, that only ever has what kind of cars in it?
Aston Martin.
And occasionally, they like Alfa Romeo, don't they? Yeah, but usually the Aston Martins go in this special fridge. The idea is that if something is very passé, out of date, old-fashioned rubbish, not nailing it, it goes in the seriously uncool column, getting better and better and better in this direction, and then if it's in sub-zero, is extremely now, and it's in. Ruin it right, and says hidden text, white text on a white background. Now, obviously, that's really cool, isn't it? Yeah? Is it not?
Seriously uncool.
What? Is it going in the fridge? No. Seriously uncool. Why is it? Keep going. Off the end?
Yeah.
Why is it down here then?
Yeah, it waits for about 3 months.
Depends who does it, I guess.
Ban your side.
Old as the hills, isn't it? Old as the hills. Okay. One, yeah. Playing the articulate and intelligent James May, we have Gavin. Little round of applause for Gavin. Okay, so he's playing the clever one. Bjorn over here, somewhere between the Stig and what's the big one called that girls don't like? Clarkson, thank you. And I'm going to be playing the little short one that all the girls like. It was a bit naive and idealistic. And the idea is that Gavin's going to be looking at it from a proper career SEO professional. What are you laughing at? A proper SEO's professional. Bjorn is going to be looking at it from a techie developer's meddling under the bonnet. And I'm going to be looking at... Do you like that? That's under the bonnet. And I'm going to be looking at it from the perspective of a content writer and a marketeer generally.
Webmaster Tools is much more useful from an SEO perspective. It tells you what is seen as the anchor text of links pointing to your site, what are the keywords within your content. It shows you in Google where you rank for particular keywords that you may not be aware of. So it's useful, but I would perhaps just take, it's not uncool. It's useful, but put Webmaster Tools with it.
About half an inch though.
Yeah, well that's about... Semantic markup, I'm really, really keen on this. I think it's actually remarkably significant. And people who don't get it don't sort of understand that actually, semantics, the whole future of things is about understanding document structure and document meanings.
Practically, what does it mean? What does it practically translate into doing?
What does it mean? It means marking up your documents so that you're actually using appropriate HTML tags to indicate the importance of content within the document structure. So headings, lists, the various different types of lists. Block quotes should be in block quotes, the most misused tag, since it used to be the only way to indent things. It's about, actually giving the information.
Use of the tag.
Yeah, to give structural meaning, information about the meaning of document elements to search engines.
CSS.
Is that semantics part of CSS? So
No, not really. I mean, the semantics is applied via the HTML tags. The CSS is the separate thing that styles them to make it look pretty or as you want it. Sorry, you were...
I was just going to lead back to what I was saying about the accessibility issue.
Yeah.
If you do approach web development or approach a web developer and say that you want a site, if you have got the accessibility issue in mind, the semantic markup thing will be hand in hand with that. And, so the output from the content management system or whatever, if it's all done properly, it will be semantic, which is one of the advantages of using a CMS, because you can program it to do all of the pages in a structure that you know is going to work. So the CMS and the semantic markup and the accessibility all tie in, so yeah, you're right in saying that.
Yeah. Weird one, like you say, it's not really an SEO job, is it? It's a web designer building a correct site.
It is, but very often we go in and have to rebuild sites because, you know, the H tag hasn't been invented as far as some web designers. Yeah, it is, really. If we had perfect web designers and developers, you know, semantics would be taken care of at that stage.
Do you have a preference on whether you use strong or big?
Well, a search engine, from a semantic point of view, it's got to be strong. But from a search engine point of view, they've said they're not going to distinguish between the two because B existed before semantics came into the HTML specification. So, but we'll move that to there.
It depends if you're using CSS. If you're using CSS, you should be using strong.
Yeah.
If you're not using CSS, you should be using
The B and the I and several other elements are deprecated as HTML4 anyway.
Yeah, but if you're using HTML4, then you use them. If you're not using CSS, you should use them. But if you're using XHTML and CSS, you should be using strong. That's what we want to say.
Okay. I'm going to...
On a basic level, don't botch the pages. Use the code properly.
I'm going to upset my friend CJ a bit because actually I'm going to... I mean, putting Twitter and social media to embrace everything I think is a bit difficult because there are a lot of different beasts out there.
Names especially has got me my #1 ranking for social media Nottingham, which I would never have been able to afford if I did it through traditional means, but because it's so respected and has such a credibility, it's got me #1, and that's not my blog, it's not my website, it's a social media site.
I think things like LinkedIn and names are interesting, much more interesting than things like Twitter and some of the more peripheral things that are in the sort of popular sphere.
Keywords are searchable in Twitter, so quite often if you search for a subject, you'll get people's Twitters coming up that talk about those subjects before you get the sites coming up. So,
similarly, blogging, I've got a feeling that blogging has sort of had its day. You know, there are more people writing blogs than reading them, and the ones who write them now don't tend, you know, there are a few really important authority blogs which everyone still reads, and the rest have just sunk without trace. And so you're not going to get the SEO benefit by, you know, people aren't going to naturally treat blogs as link bait. So I'd put that in uncool now.
It didn't do us any good.
No, it didn't. .gov and, you know, .edu and .act.uk domains. Google has come out quite definitively and said they don't per se have any more weight, links from those domains, than from any other website. To be the older domains, most academic institutions registered domain names, you know, back in 97, 98 sort of period. And because of the age and the size of the sites and the weight that they have, they're valuable for that reason. But where I live, our parish council has just registered its .gov.uk domain, and a link from that site won't be worth tuppence halfpenny when they finally get the site launched in about 2.5 years' time, because it's a very slow build at the moment. So it's links from old domains which have authority, as which most of those will have, and which have high page rank and sort of strength, rather than the... It sort of links in very much with the hubs and authorities, I suspect. A lot of hubs and authorities will be in this sphere. Hubs and the authorities tend to be what I would call the neutral things. They're not your competitors, but they're the people who comment or regulate your industry. Okay.